Hello, Ken. How do you like that for looking ahead? Before I get into my post-game analysis, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell down below. I do greatly appreciate you. Yeah, Michigan not looking ahead. Well, not for the entire game. Anyways, I'll get on that a little bit more in a second here. But my predictions for the game. I predicted Michigan to win by 17. They actually won by 26. They did even better than I thought they would, especially on the defensive side of the football. And I predicted Michigan to rush for over 250 yards as a team and 3 touchdowns, and they did exactly that. They ran for 294 and 4 touchdowns. So just another dominating performance on the ground, and Michigan takes care of business. And now we get an exciting matchup of 2 undefeateds, Michigan versus Michigan State. So yeah, something to look forward to. But it's nice that Michigan took care of business. I think it helped being at home. It really helped prevent this from being a trap game. But I do think early on, especially in the first and second quarter of this game, first and second quarter of the game, that Michigan may have been looking ahead a little bit. They got out to a pretty slow start, and they didn't really start to separate from Northwestern until the second half. I mean, think about that. It was 10-7 going into halftime, and then Michigan comes out and ends up putting up 33 points by scoring 17 in the third and then adding another 6 in the fourth. So I don't know what the coaches said to him at halftime, but whatever it was, I believe it worked, and it helped to wake them up and help them realize that, if we don't take care of Northwestern now, if you let them hang around until late in this game, there's a chance things could go poorly for you. So they came out in the third, I feel like, with a renewed focus and just took care of business. I think the defense played a really solid game. Northwestern was a team that was really building up some momentum, and they just beat Rutgers 21-7. They made a change at quarterback, and it seemed to be helping the offense. Evan Hall is a dynamic running back. You saw that on the one touchdown that they had. But think about what Michigan's defense just did to them. Yeah, I know it's Northwestern. They don't have the greatest record, and they struggled. But, again, this is a team that was improving, right? They're just coming off a win against another Big Ten opponent. So, and quite frankly, Rutgers hasn't looked that bad this year. So, for Northwestern to get a win, I think everybody was a little surprised by that. But think about the fact that Michigan's defense only gave up one big play all game, and that was the only play that Northwestern even had a chance at scoring on. Like, that's a dominating performance from a defense. Just from a fan's perspective, just watching the game, it never really. I believe there was only one other time where Northwestern attempted and missed a field goal, I think. But other than that, there was never a time where I felt like Northwestern even had a chance at scoring. Like, they just never were able to move the ball consistently enough to get themselves down the field and put themselves in that kind of position. So it really was a very strong performance from the defense. I know I've talked about officiating before in the Big Ten, but my goodness, that pass interference call against Turner, I've seen a lot of bad pass interference calls, especially this season, and that one was the worst, and that's saying a lot. Again, some terrible calls. I thought this crew was garbage. It's been bad all year. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's a terrible product. It's not helping college football. It's not helping the Big Ten Conference. It's bad. I don't know if I want to break into I'm not going to do it. Okay, let's talk about the positives with the offense. The run game, still dominating. You put up almost 300 yards against Northwestern. You scored 4 rushing touchdowns. It's still looking really good. And that's with 2 backup linemen in there. Both of our guards, starting guards, are injured right now. So to do that with the backups is really, really good. That's a great job by the coaching staff of having the younger guys, or the backups, not necessarily younger, having the backups prepared to play. That's a coaching staff that did a good job recruiting, so you have backups that you can put in when guys get hurt. But Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum just continue to impress. They're playing really well. The offensive line is blocking really well. The tight ends, man, I've said it before, but the blocking of these tight ends is phenomenal. They've bought in, right? I mean, they're not seeing a lot of passes come their way. Occasionally, they do work the tight ends on the underneath stuff in the passing game quite a bit. But to go out there and just have that sort of buy-in from your tight end group that, you know what, we're going to block our butts off, and that's just the end of the story. That's a incredible element to add to your run game. So that looks really good. Early on, I felt like the wide receivers struggled to get open, but later in the game, they really started to separate enough for the quarterback to fit the ball in there. It just didn't happen, which is what I'll touch on in a little bit. But overall, I felt like the offense played well enough. There's still a concern about being able to hit that deep ball to help open up the defense a little bit, but it hasn't. The bright side is it hasn't seemed to matter, right? Like, teams have tried to crowd the box, and it just doesn't seem to matter. Michigan still finds a way to run the football. The blocking schemes are designed in such a way that even if you crowd the box, it's no guarantee that you're going to be in the right position to stop the run game. So that's a positive. But let's just get to it. Cade McNamara should not be your starting quarterback. I know we're undefeated, but do you really believe that has anything to do with Cade McNamara right now? Does it? Because does anybody believe if the run game got shut down that Cade McNamara could be the guy to get this team to a W? I don't. There's nothing that Cade McNamara is doing right now that J.J. McCarthy couldn't do. And there are a lot of things that J.J. McCarthy can do that Cade McNamara can't. He physically can't do it. It's not in his tool set. I'm pretty sure J.J. McCarthy could come in and hand the ball off, right? That's what Cade McNamara is doing right now. He's handing the ball off, and he's completing enough underneath passes to move the sticks, and that's it. And I believe J.J. McCarthy could do those things. I really do. And that's based on stuff that I've seen. I'm not just calling for the backup because I don't like Cade McNamara. I do like Cade McNamara. If Cade McNamara was my only option, I'd still feel really good about this season. He's a veteran voice as far as a guy that really understands the offense. He can get people lined up. He does have those leadership qualities. He takes care of the football, right? Worst case scenario, if Cade McNamara was my only quarterback, I'd still feel really good about where my team was at, right? I'm not trying to say Cade McNamara is a bad quarterback. Please don't think that that's what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that J.J. McCarthy's a better quarterback based on what I've seen. He is a much more dynamic runner. We saw that. He had 2 carries for 36 yards. He can make plays when things break down. We also saw that in this one. Yes, the play was called back due to a penalty, right? Due to, I believe it was Chuck Filiaga drifting a little bit too far downfield. That's a bummer, but he did make a play that Cade McNamara would have been sacked. Let's be honest. Cade McNamara is not peeling out of the pocket and using his feet to buy time to make something out of nothing. Cade McNamara is not that guy. He's not going to do that. And I would also like to highlight on that play, excuse me, and things that we've seen out of J.J. McCarthy so far this year is that he does a very, very good job of keeping his eyes downfield. No, those are not things that most young quarterbacks and even some veteran quarterbacks struggle with that. Not a lot of guys keep their eyes downfield looking to pass the ball when things start to break down. He's very cool, he's very calm, he's very collected, and he's always got his eyes downfield to hit a pass rather than just try to take off and run every time. And that's when some explosive plays can happen when plays break down. So, these are all reasons why I feel like J.J. McCarthy should be your guy. Yes, there's a little bit of risk because he is a young quarterback. There's a chance that, your turnovers could go up a little bit, and that's always a bad thing. But would it? Would the turnovers really go up that much. I don't think they would. Everything I've seen out of J.J. McCarthy so far, yes, it's limited, so, put a little asterisk next to it. But everything I've seen out of him so far, he looks like a veteran quarterback. He looks older than he plays like an older quarterback. So I don't think you would have to worry about a lot of turnovers. Even when plays break down, right? He's not just throwing the ball in the bad spots. He's using his feet to buy time. He's keeping his eyes downfield. And his arm strength is ridiculous, and that can get you in trouble, as we saw with any of the old heads in here that remember Brett Favre's heydays. That kind of arm strength can get you in trouble. But generally, he makes really good decisions. So I think J.J. McCarthy should be the starting quarterback. I believe he should be the guy because, like I've said before, Cade McNamara is limiting your offense. You can't run read option with Cade McNamara, at least not in a way that anybody's going to worry about Cade McNamara running the football. That also takes away any RPO that you want to run. And Cade McNamara cannot throw a deep ball. He can't do it. I mean, how many times did he try against Northwestern and he couldn't drop the ball in there? Yes, there was some pretty tight coverage, but we've seen J.J. McCarthy drop the ball in on his wide receiver, even with tight coverage. So just based on what we've seen on the field, we've already seen J.J. McCarthy be able to do those things, and Cade McNamara can't. He just can't. Some quarterbacks just struggle to throw a deep ball, and Cade McNamara is one of those guys. He can't make that pass, which, again, limits your offense. So for those reasons, I believe J.J. McCarthy should be given the shot to be the starting quarterback. I don't think there's anything Cade McNamara is doing that J.J. McCarthy couldn't. So in that sense, I feel like J.J. McCarthy's floor is about where Cade McNamara is at right now, and his ceiling is so much higher. So much higher. Now, I might be doing Cade McNamara a little bit of disservice saying that. It is totally different playing an entire game as opposed to, just a few snaps here or there. But J.J. McCarthy makes this offense so much more dynamic. It gives it an entirely different look, a better look. And it's even the little things, like on those swing passes to the running backs or the wide receivers when they come around in motion. J.J. McCarthy can, because he has a stronger arm, can get the ball to those guys so much faster that you were able to see those guys make plays after making the catch. Like they had time to diagnose where the defense is at and be able to juke around them or try to put a move on them because the ball is just popping out of J.J. McCarthy's hand. It's getting to the running back immediately. And McNamara's float, they have a tendency to float a little bit longer, and that gives the defense that much more time to close the gap and to really make things difficult for the swing receiver to make anything out of that play. So it's not just the down the field throws. It's even simple little out throws like that where McCarthy, because he just has a live wire arm, can get the ball there faster, and that makes a difference for the guys catching the ball. So that's all I'm going to add to that. I still feel like J.J. McCarthy's the better option here. I feel like he gives you the best chance to win football games, not Cade McNamara. But that's just my personal opinion, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that Cade McNamara is a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. And if he was my only option, I'd be fine with that. But he's not. J.J. McCarthy has shown that he has tremendous talent, and I think he plays beyond his years. So, based on what I've seen, obviously I don't get to see him in practice, but the limited game film we have on J.J. McCarthy, I believe he should be your guy moving forward. I don't believe that they will make a change. But, it is what it is. We'll see how things play out as the year goes on. At least you have a capable backup. Worst case scenario, you suffer an injury. At least you got a capable backup. That's always a good thing to have, even if the guy that I think should be starting isn't. At least you got somebody you can trust to come in if, worst case scenario, somebody gets hurt. So that's how I feel about Michigan's football team right now. That's how I feel about this Michigan Northwestern game. It was great to see Michigan really wake up in the second half. I'm sure everybody had a little bit of concern when Northwestern hit that big play right before halftime, closed the gap 10-7, that if Michigan allows them to hang around, bad things could happen. But no, they came out with renewed focus, took care of business, and now we get to look forward to a clash of titans, two undefeated teams going head-to-head in East Lansing. So that's going to wrap this one. Remember, all love, all the time. Peace.